Yeah, okay. So I've been able to start. Okay, that's not even. Yeah, so I've been able to start recording the worksheets. So in my OBS studio. So now let me go back to the work Excel. Yeah, so this is what I mean by information, a collection of data. Yeah, so next thing we want to talk about now is function in Excel. So now that we've gathered the information, we want to do some analysis on it because the information is not going to bring out value by itself. Information is just like crude oil, for example. You know, crude oil contains petroleum, diesel, um gas, cooking gas, and some other fragments. That's the same thing as information. It needs to be refined and extracted before we can use the information. So that's why we employ data analysts, because it requires an expert to be able to decipher the crude oil, in this case information, to be able to turn it to an AM, to be able to turn it to an insight that can be able to boost your business. You know, extracting those informations allow you to know your strong and weak points, and you as a business man or woman, you will now be able to conclude whether to stop the production of the weak sites and boost your production about on the strong side. For example, taking this car data set, for example, going back to this data set, let's say for example, the cars that sells most are the let's say the cars that sells most are the let's say are the cars that uses petrol, for example. This businessman, this car dealer, for example, will now decide whether to keep selling the diesel. Let's say, assuming the diesel is the one who sells the least. Now it's left to the businessman to work on himself, whether to keep on selling the diesel, given the fact that it is weak. Probably he might just need to spend more money on advertisement to be able to allow people to know that yes, I sell diesel cars. I don't just sell petrols. You understand? To be able to market the diesel, so that the diesel is going to be selling as well. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm just allowing to try to understand the concept of data analysis before you even move to the analysis phase, because this is what actually matters. Data, you have to understand the concept of data analysis, and I believe I'm doing a good job so far trying to make us understand the key aim of data analysis. So moving on, we will now approach the functions and formulas. Like I said, data needs to be extracted and refined. So one way which you can actually do it is to use functions in Excel. So what are functions in Excel? I believe I've already dropped it in the classroom as well. So I'm just going to read and explain some of the things I was able to write in the classroom. So formulas and functions in Excel. So Microsoft Excel is one of the most powerful tools for data analysis, obviously. I don't think I need to explain about that one. Primarily because of its ability to perform calculations using formulas and function, and this function enables users to manipulate. So I believe, okay, let's pay attention to this particular part I want to say now. This function, I'll also be sending this slide to the WhatsApp as well, so you can actually go back to it if you want to. So this function, these features, meaning formulas and function, enables users to manipulate, analyze, and visualize data effectively. In this guide, we will explore the fundamental concepts of formulas and functions in Excel, their differences and their significance in data analysis. Now, I now want you to deeply explain what formulas is in Excel. Now, a formula in Excel is an expression that calculates the value of a cell, and it begins with an equal sign. Now, for example, I'm going to open a new data. Okay, let me not open a data set. Let me just create a dummy data set. I'm sharing a new screen as well. Okay, let me share a new screen. So I'll stop presenting this and share a blank Excel sheet. Sorry. So I believe can you see my screen currently? And I'm going to zoom it. I'm going to zoom this screen. So yeah, okay, I believe I've zoomed it enough. Yeah. Hello?
I hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, can you see my screen? Like the blank Excel
Yes, I
screen
can see the screen. Yes, I can see it.
okay, yeah. So I want to gather a new set of information. I want to like this data set is going to be very short because I first of all want us to understand the easy parts of formulas and function in Excel before moving to the complex parts of formulas and function in Excel. So starting, I'm going to be using students, for example, students grades. Or let me not use students grades. Let me use business because I think that's one of the most demanding skills, demanding entity for data analysis, business and biostatistics. That's health related. Okay, yeah, since you're in academics, because I was able to keep track of our conversation, and you said, how are we going to apply it in education sector as well? Yeah, we are getting to that actually. So I'm going to start with business, for example. Let's say customer name. Yeah, customer name. Then I'm going to adjust this to be able to okay, customer name, product bots, and okay, okay, I'm coming. I want to create the new recording of this particular worksheet as well. So I'm coming. I'll like it like this. So I'm still working on trying to do the recording. Hmm. Or better still. Dummy data, dummy data, dummy data, dummy data, dummy data. Yeah. So I think I've sorted it out. Can you see my screen? Wait, I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. um yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, I can see it.
Okay, yeah, so let's continue. So I wrote customer names, product bought, total sales, yeah, and total profits. Yeah, let's do it that way. So I want to first of all impute this data set first, then I will explain each and every one of those uh, functions. So we have a lot of type of functions. We have mathematical functions, we have text functions, we have logical functions, and we have date functions basically, and each of them serving their own purpose towards extracting your informations and yeah, and providing its own usage in making meaningful insights from your data. Yeah, so moving on, customer name. Let me start with my own name, jokingly though. This is Stanley. Then products bought. Okay, yeah, products bought. Let me say I bought an iPhone. The cost. Let's see, total sales. Let's say I bought it at 50,000. Okay. Total profit. I made 30,000. Oh, let me do it this way. Let me do it this way. This is the selling price. Let me write selling price instead. I want to drive out something. Yeah, selling price. I'll drive out something. And okay, sorry, this is cost price. Yeah, cost price. Sorry. Yeah, because this is the amount the dealer bought it from the store. So cost price CP, and total profit. Total profit is okay, selling price. Yeah, selling price. Okay. Yeah, so let me SP. So let's see, he sold it to me for 80,000 naira, right? Then profit. Sorry, I'm using caps lock. I'm supposed to use it. Profits, yeah. So I'm going to do it for the rest of the let's say Sunday, Tayo, Joke, Choma, Tadi, yeah. Let's just random values. Um, Akin Sunday, Babalola, yeah. So this one bought a monitor, bought a fan, and he bought the let's say chair. He bought a chalk, and he bought a stick. No, let me use one. He bought an airpod. This one bought fruits. This one bought this one bought tripod stand. Okay. Then each of those values, this one is 32,000. Cost price, this one is 20,000. Okay. Just some random values. 6, 7. um okay. um yeah, okay, yeah. Cost price, monitor, let's see, 95,000. This one is 40k. This one is 20. Yes. Okay. Yeah, before I even proceed, we all know that profit is equals to the selling price minus the cost price, because theoretically you are expecting to sell goods at the higher profits compared to the amount you bought them. So I'll try out something actually, or I will proceed with the actually it's 31,000, and this is so moving on, I'll go back to the explaining the functions and reading it aloud so we can um better understand it. Yeah, so types of function in Excel, like I said, the mathematical function in Excel, it contains the sum function, the average function, the count function, the counter function, the round function. So what is the sum function doing? As you all know, sum basically addition. So it adds all the values in a specific range. What is usefulness? It allows us to calculate the total um of a particular range of values. For example, total sales. That's the total sales of all the customers. Like the total number of the addition of all the money all the customers have spent on your particular company. Then average, obviously, average is the average number. So basically mathematical function is basically the function that deals with calculations, obviously mathematics. Yeah. Then we have the logical function, logics. So basically it's an if and else statement. If it's going to rain today, then give me then notify me with don't go to work today. If not, go to work today. So that kind of statement. If it's going to rain today and the and my manager said I should go to work today, then obey the manager. If not, don't obey the manager. If the tax collector comes to my house today and I am at home, I will give him his task. If not, I won't give him his task. So that's basically how logical function works. And we have text function. They deal with letters basically. We have the left function, which basically extracts a set of numbers or characters from the left. I'm going to explain those ones. I don't really want to talk about it because it's kind of be like I'm being too theoretical. So now starting with the mathematical function. So starting with the mathematical function, mathematical functions. So what I normally do, I like doing is basically I like beautifying my worksheets. So I will highlight the headers with yellow. It's just one of the random things I do. So pardon me. This particular mathematical function as well, I'll denote it with headers as well. So I will know what I'm doing. So we have the sum function first. We have the average function, right? We have the count function, right? And we have the round function. This round function is basically of three types. We have the round up. Okay, wait, three types actually. We have the round up, and we have the round down. Yeah. So okay, now let's start with the mathematical function in Excel. Now going back to this profit. Going back to this profit. This profit is going to help me to explain formulas as well as function, as well as the difference between formulas and function in Excel. Now, like I've said, we are extracting insights, right? So let me write it down somewhere here. Okay, let me write it here. That we want to extract insights from our information. That's why we are using this function basically. All the functions in the Excel basically to extract insights from our information or data. They are the same thing actually, and I believe I've explained it in the beginning of this class. So extracting insights, right? And data analysis. So we know what I'm trying to drive out. Extracting insights on data analysis. Yeah. Okay. So this profit. To calculate profit, we know that profit is selling price minus the cost price. So to do that, we are going to use equals to. Then in Excel, each and every value has a noun. A noun is the name of any person, animal, place, or thing, for example. But in this case, they have an identity or a name attached to every single cell. And what I mean by cell, this is a cell. This Stanley cell. This is Tunde's cell. This is Tayo's cell. This is Joke's cell. This is Choma's cell. And the way their cells are named is that, for example, okay, yeah, look at this trauma. For example, it is at the a colon. In Excel, this is colon. The vertical side is the colon, while the horizontal side is the row. I believe you understand that. Though, if you have any question, I would like to entertain that as well. This is the colon. The vertical side is the colon. The horizontal side is the row. So, um, now the reason why Choma is named A6 is because if you count from the vertical side, customer name is 1, Stanley is 2, Tunde is 3, Tayo is 4, Joke is 5, Choma is 6. That's why it is named as A6. Now, I don't want to look at Choma. I want to look at iPhone. iPhone will be named B2. Why? Because it is in the B colon, and if you count it downward, B1 is product but and B2 is iPhone. Exactly. Going to C colon as well. C1 is the cost price and C2 is 50,000, which is basically the cost price of buying the phone Stanley ordered, which is basically an iPhone. So to do that, I'm just going to write C2 because that's what we want to do. Cost price minus the selling price, right? Minus the selling price is D2. How do I know? Because we are dealing with customer name. I'm sorry, we are dealing with the selling price, which is SP, and it's D1. Then D2 is 80,000, and since they're in the same row, that means Stanley, the dealer bought Stanley's iPhone for 50,000 and sold it to Stanley at 80,000 naira, right? Then cost price minus selling price, that's the profit that I want to calculate. Then, as you can see, minus 30,000 naira indicating a loss. So that's what I just want to show us. I want to show us that profit is not always profit. Sometimes it can be a loss, and it happens in businesses. Another thing I want us to do before going to this mathematical, before going to functions, this is basically a formula. What I just did now is formulas. Before we go to function, I want to show something as well. Data types. Though I won't be covering every data types today. This is close to 11 because this is a 2 hours class basically. I won't be covering every data type in Excel, but I will cover some. So I want to change this cost price and selling price to currency. To do that, I just have to highlight this data, right? And in this general, I'll click an arrow and change it to currency. Then it already give me dollar. But there's a way to change it. If you don't want dollars, you can actually change it though. But that's for another day, because we are dealing with basic Excel, and I don't want to go beyond the basics for today because this is our first live class that we are having. Then you have selling price as well. I'll do the same thing. Let me do the same for just the two of them as well. So general, I want a currency. Click on it. Yeah. So do the same for this and this, but Excel understands what you want to do. Since you have already done the two calculations, and you have for example in this scenario, for example, let's say I'm coming. Let's say you want to work with this thing. Let's say you want to calculate like the profit, for example, and I've already okay, yeah. So back, I kind of attended to a message. So yeah, so let's say we want to calculate, like for example, we're calculating our profit, and we have a scenario like this. We want to calculate something, and the two columns are next to each other, you don't have to calculate writing the same formulas again, like writing equals to this and this. What you can just have to do is drag this down, and in Excel it's called filling down. So it has automatically calculated the profits, and automatically calculated the profits and the loss for each and every one of these. You can see 100,000 minus, sorry, cost price and selling price actually. Okay, let me check. C9 minus D9. Okay, cost price minus selling price. Yeah, how come? Yeah, it's a loss actually. Yeah. So as you can see, cost price minus selling price. Okay, I think I might have made a mistake in the profits.
Selling price minus cost
Cost price.
price.
Yes, exactly. That was where the issue lies. I made a mistake. Thank you for correcting me. Minus cost price. Yeah. So then I'm glad you are actually understanding the whole process. Let me see. I don't want it to. Okay. Yeah. So you can see I didn't bother myself trying to calculate for the other ones as well. I just dragged my cursor to this. Use until you see a cross sign, don't drag it, because Excel will basically treat it like this. Like you probably want to paste something or you want to copy something. So yeah. Moving on. I want to do
But
the.
please, this dollar sign, how did you get that dollar sign on it automatically?
So I went to my home, like I went back to the home tab. Okay, but before I did that, actually, I highlighted the data sets. In this case, cost price, right? Then I clicked on home. Then I went to this data. It's actually is initially going to be as general, but I will now like go to currency and click on it. Automatically, it's going to generate my dollar sign. And if you don't want to follow the whole process, you can just click on this dollar and actually, and it's going to change. I can start to change it to euro, I can start to change it to pounds, I can start to change it to yen, or any other currency I have in mind. So all I just have to do is probably search for it. So let me see if I can get Naira. Though I've not actually used Naira before though, but what's nice about Excel is this part is that it's hard to search. Okay, yeah, I've seen it. Naira, Ipibo Naira. Okay, let me use this one. Naira. Okay. I'll go to this one as well. I'll do the same thing. I'll go to home and okay. I mean, I should have actually just copied it too. Okay. Then, because Naira is actually far, I should have just copied. I'm coming. I need to pick. I'm coming. I need to pick this call. Let me. Hello. Hello. Oh, good. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Tochi.
Ma.
Hello?
Ma.
Yes, yes, Olumere.
I know everything I go for ma.
Okay. Anyị ọsụsụ ka m kene unu. Anyị na-alọta n'ụtụtụ a.
Otutu a.
Ee,
Time go.
anyị ga-emuvu mma alụ nne na mgbede.
Okay. Better. Aka. Some things is scattered. Sha. Oh, go and go scan you na room. So she got built to pure to cool everything fashion.
Onye niile dị start onwe ya ọbụla mere. Anyị ma mgbede ka anyị ga-erute.
Okay. Because no any problem. Everything I go for ma.
Jesi dado na m si ikele ya ọrụ nsọ ọrụ ọgwụ ya.
No, na one day. I'll go move. Okay, yeah. Sorry for the break in transmission. Okay, yeah. Back to where we stopped. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to change this to Naira. So, okay. Then I'll do the same for profits because there's no way the cost price and the selling price will be in dollars in naira while the profit is going to be in dollars. No. So to do that again, I'll go to the home, go to the dollar sign, and click on more accounting formats, like more accounting formats. Then the same procedure. So as you can see, there are a lot of currencies you can actually work with in Excel. So probably all the currencies in the world basically. Yeah. So okay, okay. So what's going on now? Okay, yeah. So one thing about Excel is once there is a limited space, it's going to write an hash hash hash. This does not mean an error. It just basically means that it needs to be expanded to be able to accommodate it. Also, I'm going to do something. I want to calculate the total cost and selling price. I just want to show. I want to differentiate between formulas and function. So that's why I want to do it because cost price plus selling price doesn't actually mean anything. Cost price plus selling price divided by two. I don't know. Doesn't actually mean anything though. But let's just do it. I just want to show us formulas and function. The difference between formulas and function in Excel. So we are currently working on formulas in Excel. So I just want us to note that. So total so CP plus SP. Yeah. Okay. So our formulas instead of minus that we're using here, since we are adding, we're going to use plus. So this okay, yeah. Plus this, right? 130,000 naira. Then like I said, sorry. Also you see a cross sign. Voila. So this is 170,000. This plus is 63,199. So this procedure is called filling down. I wish I can write it down for okay. Filling down. So do you have any questions so far? So this is everything we have on formulas and function on formulas actually. Do you have any questions so far?
No, no, no. I'm understanding.
Okay, oh good. Okay. Mm, 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 mm. Now let's talk about function in Excel. Now the way function works is that instead of manually writing selecting okay better still instead of manually writing equals to CP plus instead of manually writing equals to E2 plus E8 E1 plus E5, just do the sum function. And what function basically means that there are predefined settings. So this whole calculation that I did is going to be run by this particular function equals to sum. So equals to sum. That means I don't need to write the plus sign anymore. Then I'll drag on my rows and close the brackets. This is the total cost price. 315,654. Then I'll do the same thing for the total selling price as well. This is equals to sum, right? So drag the selling price as well. Close the brackets. 405,000 naira. Yeah, obviously it's supposed to be that way because since you are selling, you're expected to gain more profit and add your own personal charges to it. So obviously, selling price is supposed to be more than cost price, or else the probably the manager doesn't know how to handle his business correctly. So that's why he's probably killing himself by selling lesser than what he bought. So total profits. Every businessman, everybody wants to know how much they've gained in total, and this can actually be in a month, in a year. Obviously, there's supposed to be a um, time variable or time colon. For example, year in the data set, but because I'm actually working with a dummy data set, like I brought this data set from my head, as you can see when I was inputting it. I didn't bother myself to I didn't bother myself to include it. So yeah. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to be working on total profit. So equals to sum as well. Total profit. Oh, sorry, I need to. What is going on with my yeah? So total profit is 9,000. So theoretically, if you add this to it's 9 plus, you are going to get this. So let's try it. Equals to it's 9 plus okay this. You're going to get the total selling price. Yeah, actually, which we did. So the average price actually. So average in data analysis, average is also a means of comparison. In basic statistics that we were taught in schools, they are basically means of central tendencies. Okay, yeah, I never really actually really researched further about what they actually mean. But what I know basically is that in statistics, we use them to compare across two or more, let's say two or more factors. For example, average sales compared to average profit, average score of students in mathematics compared to average score of students in English, average salary of Yorubas compared to average salary of the Igbos, like that. So yeah, moving on. The average cost price is going to be like this, equals to average. Oh, sorry, that was a mistake. I didn't include the. So you don't really have to write it finish. You can just click on, because Excel is actually a smart tool and to understand everything you want to do. Yeah, pretty much. So then you drag it down and click on enter. That's the average cost price. If you want to calculate this using formulas in Excel, you have to basically have to do you have to plus everything. Okay, yeah, okay. Now I want to do something. I don't know. Equals to I don't know if it basically includes the difference between the main difference between formulas and function in Excel is that formulas is very stressful. Okay, I don't even know I'm going to, because I've not really done averaging from using formulas actually, but I know it's some of numbers over n basically, but the n parts, but let's see if it's going to be get the same values though. Hey, sorry, that was an error from my side. C7 plus C8, yes, plus C9, okay, divided by 6, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6, wait, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, yeah, 8, okay, sorry, there's 9, yeah, and it's going to bring an error, probably get the brackets, so segments everything, but it's still going to bring an error message though. Yeah, it's going to bring an error message. Well, either ways, I'm just trying to show us that formulas is actually stressful and can be done using functions instead. Yeah, so I believe you all get the point. Yeah, moving on as well. Okay, let me move to something. This is called a filling right. So it has calculated the total the average profit for the cost price, sorry, for the selling price and the average profit. Let me check basically. Let me check. I don't want to assume. Yeah, this is the average selling price. As you can see, D2 to D9. Like I said in the beginning, when I started these formulas and function, I made sure we understood each and every one of these cells and what they actually represent. So this is average D2 to D9. So yeah, enter. And this is the average profit, right? E2 to E9. So, and this one is actually not relevant, but I knew I was going to calculate this one because I went to do the so bye bye. You don't actually need it. So what I want us to know it in Excel is that you don't necessarily have to calculate every time. The reason why the filling right was actually able to work is because it follows this pattern. It already follows this process already. Like since you've done it once, it automatically assumes that the next line you want to do, so the next calculation you want to do, is actually trying to follow the same trend. And same goes for these particular ones. Excel identifies pattern and trends. It follows a pattern. It follows your pattern to try to do, okay, what does this user wants to do? Does he wants to continue what he has done in the first line, or does he want to do try a different approach? So that's what Excel basically does. So yeah, moving on. The count function. What count function basically does is it counts the number of values in a set of in a range of cells basically. Okay, let me read out what I wrote. Yeah, counts the number of no counts the number of numeric entries in a range. So it basically deals with numbers. I think counter is one that deals with either numbers or um letters, as long as it is not empty. Okay, yeah, so moving on. I'm going to start using the count function. So equals to count, emphasis on the numeric. I said counts the number of numeric, right? This is not numeric, so let's say I use the count function on this. It's not going to work. Why? Because it is not numeric. It's only going to bring out 0, and this 0 is an error. So, and what the basically is that we have no numeric values actually. So since it wasn't able to count any numeric values, it brought out 0. So yeah, we don't need it. So count then this, right, and close our bracket, and it's going to bring out 8. Actually it's 8, yeah, not 9. Then same goes for this. Like I said, you don't have to use the every time. You don't have to use the you don't have to calculate every single time or use function every time to understand what you're trying to do. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the round function. Okay, I don't have any decimals actually, but let me say I 34.2. Okay, yeah, let me use pi. Pi is 3.142, 1.3.1428 something something. Let's say 79. Forgotten basically, but pi is 3.1428. Round function basically in mathematics allows us to round off a number to specific decimal places. Yeah, I hope my distance is recording. Yeah, I guess it's still recording. About regarding the screen issue, have you been able to is it manageable actually? I forgot to ask actually.
Yes,
Okay.
I zoomed it. Sort of.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's nice. Okay, yeah, I'm actually recording the live class, but I'm going to post it on my YouTube and probably my LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok as well. But that's out of context. Round. Okay, yeah. Like I said, round. It can either round up or round down, and I don't think I need to explain that one. I'm going to show it to us. Okay, so equals to round. Okay. Yeah, the number. This. Like I said, each number has a name attached to it. So you can see this is G11. So this G11 is basically something as a noun, is an identifier. This G11 is identifying the 3.142 number of sorry, number of digits. I want 4 digits. It's going to give me a value of 3.143 basically. So okay, 4 digits after the decimal point. Sorry, that was a slip of tongue. I don't know where that came from actually. So this is to give me 3.143. I will just write three digits after the decimal point. So 3.143. So like I said, now let me give us another example. Ironically, I don't even know any mathematical values anymore. Let me just bring up something from my head. 20/7. It's the same thing. I'm getting something related to 14.2. It's something I've forgotten. 86.4 kilometers. Okay, yeah. Yeah, acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 kilometers. Well, not necessarily 9.8. Let's say 9.764. Yeah, that's basically G in physics. Acceleration due to gravity. I might be wrong though. The basic this thing is 10. Like acceleration due to gravity is 10, but it's basically not 10. It's rounded off to 10 actually. So yeah. Um, rounding this round function, right? 9.764 to um, ah, 10. So, but I don't want to round it off to 10. I want to round it off to 9.8. So obviously it's going to be one. Okay, yeah. One or two. Yeah, 9.8. Supposed to be one actually. Yeah, one. What was I thinking? Goes around. Then this is 9.674, right? Is currently at E11, comma 1. So 9.8. Yeah, round up function basically. Although people like to talk about it, but what it does is basically it rounds off a number higher. So like I said, I'm going to do it instead of explaining. So okay. It goes to round up. Yeah, yeah, we have round down and round up basically. What am I doing? Goes round up. Great. So the number of digits. Let's see. Let's say I want 3 digits. Then so going to give 9.64. Okay. I don't know. I want to explain this better, like better, but I don't know. Okay, yeah, yeah, I did this. It's rounding up. Basically, what this round up function does is that, in approximation, if a number is greater than 5, it's rounding. It's going to round to 1 and add to the next value, right? But when you're rounding up, it's basically providing a round figure. It doesn't necessarily obey the abbreviation rule. What it does is basically okay, let me just bring out the three values and add one to the next, as long as it is a way to zero to some points actually. So as you can see, this is 9.674, right? I requested a 2 decimal place and it's giving me 9.77. So assuming this is 9.67. Okay, yeah, don't let me use this. I don't want to change the scope. Assuming this is 9.671. Assuming this is 9.671, and I use the same round up function here, and this, and I requested for the same 2 digits. It's going to give me 9.6. So basically, what this round up function does is basically is that it doesn't obey the abbreviation rule actually. as long as there's there is a number after the decimal point, after there's a number. For example, yeah, we in this particular place we're requesting for 2 digits and you have 3 digits. It's going to add one to the like for example, it's going to add one, making this one 8. This one adding one to 7. Round down, the other one is basically the opposite. So equals round down. Okay, equals round down. Then this 2. So 9.676. So okay, now let's do for the second one. Equals round down. It's going to give me 9.76 as well. 9.67, sorry. Yeah, 9.67. Okay, so that's all on mathematical functions for now. Do you have any question regarding mathematical function before we move to the logical function? Hello? Um, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I said, do you have any question on mathematical function before we move to the logical function?
No, 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 I'm good.
Okay, so I'll proceed with the logical function. Yeah, so logical function contains the if function, the and function, the or function, and the not function, like I've already said earlier. So okay, I'm going to show us. I'm going to show us something, but I'm coming. Let me just work on I want everything to be in a sheet, so I don't switch Excel tabs because I want to get them in the recording. So okay, okay, yeah, that works. Okay, I'm coming. Just give me a few minutes to try to zoom the screen and just do one or two. Okay. Yeah, so I was on my screen. I want to check if it's actually on point. Yeah, it is. Okay, so can you see the screen? Like yeah, can you see this? Be able to be seeing remarks,
Yes, I
grades,
can see the
score,
screen.
like you able to, like you are seeing.
Score, great.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, this is even the education line. So basically, this is students' information. This is students' information, and it contains a lot of students' grades, obviously, and you want to create a cutoff mark, like if this particular student scores above or below this value, we grade them either pass or low. This is actually my student's work. Actually, I gave him as a classwork. His name is Philip Shaba, and I'll probably um I'll probably link all of my students together. I want probably to be able to collaborate more, probably on some projects. But that's another day. So I have Stanley, I have James, I have Joseph, I have Adekunle and Agbam Tunji. Trying to zoom it to be okay. Yeah, I think this is better. I have Agbam, I have Adekunle, I have Grace, I have Stella, and so this is their score. um we all know that subject is basically mathematics. It's basically an art course to some people, yeah, even to me some in some points, yeah, though I'm studying statistics a lot also. Okay, so these are their grades, and the ifs function, like I said, you're going to be starting with the if function, ifs function, or function, and the not function. So, like I said, my student has done some things here basically, but this is an if function. I'm going to be working with the if function and difference between if and ifs function as well. So, an if function basically um work on one case alone. So, for example, if James scores 31, he passed. If he didn't score 31, he fails. Like, there is nothing like if he scores 31 is an F, if he scores 51 and above, if he scores 51 C, if he scores 80 A. No, those are multiple conditions. You cannot use the if function. Instead, you are going to use the ifs function, like an S at the back. So yeah, moving on. So to start with that, like I said, is logic, and you can see you are dealing with logic as well. And you can see already so far what you have been doing so far is you're already extracting insights from our data. We're already analyzing our data, as you can see. What we've done so far. This is the selling price, this is the cost price, this is the profit. We're able to generate the profit. We're able to This one was just me showing something. I was just showing different between formulas and function in Excel. And for this, we're able to generate the total sales, total profit, total cost price, total selling price, total profit. This was unnecessary actually. Yeah, it was necessary. So it's total this. So and we did the average as well. We counted the total number of people, total number of the numeric ones. Yeah, and we were able to do the round function as well. Then we moved on. We are moving on basically to this another data set, basically grades. Yeah, so if sorry equals to if, because when you want to start either a formula or function in Excel, you have to first of all start with uh this thing, an equal sign. If b2 is less than 50, then one thing I need to tell us about as well is when writing a calculation in Excel, I want to write an alphabet or a string. You have to insert it with a semicolon. I'm sorry, a notation. Sorry, not a semicolon. Okay. If it's less than 50, failed. Yeah. Else, you don't need to write else to this caliber. Passed. Else has been represented by a comma, so failed. And you can do it for the remaining ones. For example, I don't want B2. I want 63. Yeah, I want B10 instead of C2. So I'm going to do B10 instead. So passed. So, but for if statements, I'm just going to go back to this because I don't want to go to the hassle of trying to explain everything. So you can see Stanley is B. It has been covered here basically, but Stanley is B. The score of Stanley is in B2 category, as you can see. So this is what we are working on. So if B2 is greater than or equals to 80, obviously it scores an A. Then comma, like I said, comma is replacing else. If B2 is greater than or equals to 60, then it's going to be a B. It's going to be B. Then greater than or equals to 40. Okay, it's supposed to be an E basically. Okay, let me add something to this. You made a mistake. So if B2 is greater than or equals to 50, greater than or equals to 50, Hmm. But let's leave it that way basically. But let's yeah, let's do it. Let's try. What are the cost? Oh sorry, that was a mistake. Greater than or equals to 50, then is C. Then greater than or equals to 40, this should be a D. Less than 40 F. Yeah. So yes, so there's still no C actually. Um, there's still no D. I'm trying to get some things though. This is 80. BFP1, this is 80, yeah. 60, 40. Okay, yeah. Let's work with that actually. So I believe do you understand what I did that by there? This is if statement, the score that we're dealing with. If it's greater than or equals to 80, it's going to get an A. If it's greater than or equals to 60, it's going to get a B. 50 is going to get a C. And if it's less than or equals to 40, greater than or equals to 40, sorry, it's going to get a D. But if it's less than 40, it's going to get an F. So I believe you understand it currently. So have you understood the difference between ifs and if statements, or do you want me to explain further?
Yes, I'm picking it up.
Uh,
I'll do if I once I do my own real practical now.
yeah,
It will stick on the brain. But
ex-
I'm understanding what you're saying.
exactly. So
Mm.
okay, yeah, let's continue.
Understanding it so that I don't. I'm just trying to copy that your longer. Please, can you put it again? Let me copy that. If
Okay, yeah, okay,
just let me copy some so that let me know what to do.
okay, yeah.
I must admit, Jack, I thought I had you.
Yeah, I'm sure with it, sir.
Okay, okay. So you can move on. Okay, yeah. So okay, so I think there's no need for me to explain these remarks as well. Or do you want to copy this one as well? So it's actually the same thing, like it's the same process. If it's called an A, okay, no, this is different actually. This is an if and. This is an if and. Okay, I'll explain. I have to explain this one actually. So I've explained this. Okay, yeah. So let me just write it down. Explained. So if all statements, when I say all, it means that one of the conditions are met, right? And it means that one of the condition and means that both of the condition needs to be met. So I'm going to be showing us what I mean by that. And since we are dealing with two or more conditions, we cannot use this if statement. We're going to be using this ifs function instead. So equals to ifs. Okay. Okay, okay. equals to ifs 57 which is okay, don't let me use this one. B7 is less than 60 or um this is not supposed to be, actually that was a mistake. Equals to if if okay, let me do it this way. If k is greater than 60 or okay, mm, okay, is equals to Tsungi correct. I'll explain later. uh, Incorrect. Think, yeah, there's a problem for me actually, and I will work on that actually. So okay, I'm coming. Yeah, so this is the correct formula actually. So ifs or there is I didn't like, I was supposed to bring the or outside actually. So what this formula basically tries to explain is that if B7, which is this particular person Tunji that scores 98, good, is greater than 80, which is actually true, and okay, yeah, or A7 is equals to Tunji. That means one of the conditions needs to be met, but in this case both conditions are actually met. So let me to avoid both conditions being met. But B7 is not less than 80. Yeah, so both conditions are not actually met. So you're going to see that it's going to write correct, indicating that at least one of the conditions has been met. And since one of the conditions has been met, then the logic is going to retain correct, indicating that it is true. Now let me, for some logical reasons, I don't actually need to write this. So I don't want to okay. Better still, let me just, so if I use the same function but with and, you will see that it's going to return incorrect. Why? Because and requires both conditions to be met, indicating that both B7 must be greater than 80 and A7 must be equals to 20. So incorrect. Now moving to this particular formula, there is actually kind of long though, but it's not that much. So if C2 is equals to A, let me not use it so, because I'm kind of not saying it so. Okay, I think I know what to do. Let me just copy it and paste it. Yes, I want to be able to be seeing the formula so I can be able to explain it. So yes. Okay. Which one am I doing? If C8 is equals to A. Okay, yeah. If C8 is equals to A8 and performance. If C8 is equals to A, then A8 and performance performed excellently well, and CB is equals to B, then AB. I'm done A8. What am I saying? Then A8, which is basically this. Coming. If C8 is equals to B, then A8. Okay, yeah, actually. So if C8 is equals to A, where is my C8? This is my C8, right? Then A8. This is A8. Then 15, which is 15, and perform excellently well. And C8 is equals to B. C8 is equals to B. Where's my C8? C8 is no, I don't want to stress. I don't want to complicate what I've actually thought so far. This one is actually kind of, it contains so many conditions, and I don't want to I don't want to make it more complicated. Yeah, so I'll just stop at these basic ones. Then this knot is basically what it does is, if something is not in, for example, um if a value is not equals to 71, for example, it's going to bring true. So for example, like this, it's going to be like equals to if not no, not this one. So so if not, so if not let's see, for example, 71, b2 is equals to 71. Oh, let me not use equals to, let me use less than equals to 71, true, else false, right? Okay. um Sorry.
You are putting if there. Abi, is it not IFS that is supposed to be there?
Oh, actually, I don't think it actually matters. I don't think it actually matters actually, because we're working with one condition, not many conditions. So I don't think it actually matters. Let me try this one. Yeah. Okay. I think the mistake was basically I didn't include a bracket in Like when I wrote if not, I didn't include a bracket to demarcate
Okay, the
the
bracket.
yes, exactly. So we can basically do another one equals to if like mimicking this. So we can do the same thing. Hey, sorry, how good am I doing? So if not, okay. So if not p2 is equals to b, then true, false. Why am I still getting an error? Yeah, actually, this b is supposed to, like I said, it's supposed to be quoted like a string value. So I went to go on. I didn't put hyphens, so it was basically identifying as probably is a text value, but like it's supposed to be. Or better still, I can actually use capital B as well. Excel is not case sensitive unlike Python. So yeah, do you have any questions so far concerning the logical function?
No, not yet.
Okay, then we move to date function, I guess, and we call it a day. Yeah, our text function first before this function. The same arrangements in the slide I sent. So text function basically we have the left function, we have the right function, we have the mid function, and we have the concatenate function, and we have the trim function. So I will be treating concatenate function, length function, and the left and right function basically. So okay. So left function. No, let me write this way. I've always done text functions, right? So left function, right function, concatenate function, and trim function. So the left function, what it basically does is that it brings out the number of characters from the left. For example, if I want to bring out this all calculated fields. Okay, now let me use name of a person for example. Let me use Deborah for example, and I want to use text left function on it. It allows me to bring out the letters from the left of Deborah. So let me use for example equals to text, right? Equals to text Deborah, comma the number of letters I want to extract from her name. Let's say I want to extract the first four letters from the left. So okay, sorry, I went to use text. Sorry, so I'm supposed to use the left function. I don't need. Yeah, so you can see the bow is the first four letters, I don't want to use Deborah. Instead I want to use Bello, but I want the first two letters. Oh, let me use Toyosi and keep it at 4 equals to left Toyosi, then okay 3. So it's going to bring me toy. Same goes for the right function. Equals to right, like more like the opposite. So equals to right equals right this, and last four letters. So it's going to be like Haro. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, Ora. So like the last four letters actually. Then you can do for Emilia as well. So Ilya. Now move to the concatenate function. Concatenate function basically allows us to join two or more words together. So for example, let's say you want to join my full name actually, Stanley and Agbam. So to do that, you just use the equals to concatenate function, and then the first name comes first, then a comma, then the reason why I'm putting this two notations here is that I want a space bar to be in between my name. Then my last name is in this particular area. Okay, then I'll close the brackets. Now assuming I didn't put these two notations, there won't be a space bar in between, or I want a space bar, because this concatenate function is very useful, and it's also one of the most useful functions in Excel. So I want a space bar. Then moving on, you have the trim function. Trim function allows us to reduce the length of each function. For example, equals to length equals to length yeah, I wrote equal to twice, sorry. 7, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so actually in some cases it counts space bar as also as letters, for example, not letters per se, but it counts it as the number of spacing. For example, okay, let me say I count this. Let me use this one, for example, equals to length this, and I'll close the brackets. 13. Now let me try to trim the same name, and now request for the length. You can see it has actually removed the space bar in between. Not that it removed it actually. So it's still 13 actually, but in some cases, in some scenarios that we have extra space in our cell, you can use the trim function to reduce the spacing, making it making it adequate and okay for our data analysis. It is one of the functions used in data cleaning. So basically all these text functions are used in data cleaning. These are majorly used in data cleaning. So let me write it as well. Okay, so that is all for today. Okay, before I go, we'll talk about the date function. As we all know, the normal date function. So we have today, we have now, we have year function, and we have the date function. So today function brings out like today's current date. So to do that, you just today. Sorry. Okay, what am I doing? Equals to today. So this is according to today's date. Now as well. So equals to now. So it brings, this is called a timestamp, the current time. So in my time, it is currently 11:46 and 24th of January 2026. Date diff actually is basically trying to check the date differentiation between a particular date and another date. So and they can differentiate by either month, year, or day. So we are going to be doing this one in the later stages of our classes, not today. Then we'll also be talking about the year. So year is 2026 basically, but to get the year as well, just do the equals to year function. Okay. So that one doesn't work that way actually. Um, I'm coming. Let's do it this way. So 2026. Yeah. So this comes to the end of this data analysis training for today. So the next class is probably on Saturday. We'll discuss that on WhatsApp. So have you gained anything so far in today's class? How was today's class so far?
It was very fun. It was very fun. I've learned much.
Okay.
Just for me to do some rehearsal with a practical stuff so that I don't forget them.
Yes, I'll be sending some class works as well. Some data sets to work on and some data sets to work on basically. It would be advisable if you were jotting something down as well. So just in case you can have something to go back to when you want to.
I jotted some things down, especially when you started all this logical function and all these the other functions. I jotted things down.
Okay, that's actually nice. Okay then see you in the next class. We'll discuss that on WhatsApp actually. So I'll be cutting this call and yeah, see the next class.
So when will our next class be now?
Um I'm thinking like the same time on Saturday, but like I don't do you like I want it to be holding 2 hours every I'm sorry 2 days per week, like 4 hours per week. But I don't know, when do you feel we should have the second class?
Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday.
It doesn't I know it doesn't
The
work for
issue
me.
I will be having in any of those days, so between 2 hours, if those days will certainly be in the evenings because I go to work.
Maybe you
The
should
issue I'll be
probably
having with 2 hours, 2 hours will be too long for me because I have a toddler.
yeah I get
I have a toddler, so that time, that if we want to fix maybe around 7 or so because I have to do some things in the house also to settle everybody at
probably
home.
Thursday. Yeah, let's fix it on Thursday. Thursday works
Okay.
for me. Okay then.
Alright, Thursday, that would be okay. Even if it's 1 hour, 30
Yeah,
minutes,
yeah.
that would be okay. But I don't think I can do 2 hours on during the week.
Okay then. Yeah, I know.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
So yeah, I back oh, yeah, so, yeah, stop the recording.